Hey guys, and welcome to an episode of Dog Talk with Michael J. Solar. I just want to take a moment and say thank you for everybody that's tuning in right now. I'm going to give everybody a second to see if we can log on. Again, if you feel like answering some questions tonight or throwing some questions at me, please feel free in doing so. I'm going to try to keep track on everything going on with our live chat. So I'll just type in real quick that we're here. Any questions you're going to have tonight? Tonight's episode is going to be really fun and easy. It's something that's coming across a lot lately as we've been traveling and training and doing so many different things. So something that keeps coming up a lot lately is coming interesting. It seems like a lot of people are either expanding their home or maybe helping family members out with watching each other's dogs, and they're coming across the problem of introducing their dog to another dog. So, for example, to introducing your dog to your friend's dog, or maybe introducing a new dog into the family. So in tonight's episode of Dog Talk, that is what we're going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing what is the real easy steps to introduce another dog. So without any further ado, I want to go ahead and get started with this. So if you guys have a pen and paper, if not, go ahead and watch this again later. So step number one is going to be understanding that this is a slow process. This is not something that we want to just throw our dogs into, okay? So one of the big mess-ups a lot of people have when doing anything, never mind just introducing a dog to another dog, but literally just simply doing anything, is we always wait for failure. And that's what we want to prevent. We do not want to wait for failure. We want to set ourselves up for high levels of success. So what that means is that we want to make sure that we are taking enough time to put a timeout, let the dogs remember the good experience they had with the other dog, and then coming back later. So I have a little mathematical equation that I simply do, is that I go up by twos and divide by thirds. So easy way to think about it is this. When I first introduce my dog to the new dog or a new family member and or friend, I might only give them 30 seconds together. And that 30 seconds is going to happen quick. And you're like, Mike, that's not enough time. But it is. Because in that 30 seconds, literally nothing happens. So they'll literally go into the room together and they'll be exited out of the room before any problems occur, any smelling, any sniffing, any barking, any growling. Then I'm going to wait about 30 minutes and I'm going to bring them back, but I'm going to bring them back for a minute. And then I'm going to break them again, and then I'm going to bring them back in. From a minute, now I'm at 2 minutes. 2 minutes is going to go to 4 minutes, 4 minutes into 8 minutes, 8 minutes into 16 minutes, and so on and so forth. So from 16, you're at 32 minutes. So by literally doing a compound effect measure of introducing the dogs, you're able to increase time together very rapidly while still giving your dogs the opportunity to stay calm, get used to their new friend, family member, or something of the sort. And that's one of those keys that you want to look at, is you want to take your time with that. Does that make sense? So you want to ease into it. You want to see how it's going and take that time, because what we do a lot of times, again, is that we set them up, they start fighting, and now when we break them apart, they are over. That's what they remember. They remember the excitement levels. They remember the arguing. They remember the fighting. And that's what we don't want to do. Okay? So remember, up by twos, down by thirds. So now down by thirds, real simple process is this. If the dogs start getting too excited and we break the time, we take the time that's there and we divide that by thirds, and we subtract 1/3 to the time that it was before they got too excited. So that way, the next time they come together, that way you're not at that time limit that was a threshold. That's where we don't want to be. Is we don't want to break the threshold. So easy peasy. If you got up to 30 minutes, a third of that would be 10 minutes. So the next time they get together, they're at 20 minutes. And if 20 minutes goes successful, you'll go the time after that one is 40 minutes, going back right into twos. So step one is remembering that this is a slow process that happens fast with the compound effect if done properly. The next thing is that you want to introduce your dogs on leashes, okay? Don't put your dog in the living room and the other dog in the living room completely untethered and hope for the best, all right? It's not a wanted thing to do, okay? sorry about the noise in the background. I'm actually away right now in Tennessee, so we're out on the deck. So we're outside. So what we want to do is, again, introducing the dogs on a tether or some sort of leash or lead. I normally suggest a 15-foot leash so your dogs do not feel that they have to protect you in anything, so you keep a distance. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that it's dog and then you. Do not let the leashes get tangled. Don't let them start wrapping. So you want to move in a circle, always keeping your dog in front of you. So as they start to get to know each other, you're moving as well if they turn around to keep the leashes from being tangled. This way, if the dogs do get excited to each other, you literally just back up, keeping yourselves from getting in the midst of the dog's excitement levels and preventing any type of accidental nip or bite that could occur. So step one, we introduce time very slowly. And remember, up by 2, down by thirds. Step 2, we're going to introduce on the leash. Step 3, we're going to do a dragging leash. So now we've had great occurrences, right? So now we have the 10-minute, 20-minute intervals. We've done it on the long leashes. We had no issues. So now the next go around, we're going to drop the leash and we're going to allow them to drag the leashes on the ground. Big thing I normally suggest to this is making sure that the tethers don't have any loop or small handles in it that could get the dog wrapped up or hooked. Okay, so that's something that you want to really look at. And that's something you want to pay attention to on that one. So that way the leashes are just essentially like ropes. They're on the ground. They won't get tangled. They can easily be pulled apart. Step 4, okay. You want to do this in a neutral area. So this is all a part of this whole thing. Hey, Shane and Amanda, also, I'm going to give quick shout outs. And Robin, I'll come back and answer your question in a moment, as once we get through all 6 steps here. So then again, we want to make sure that we have in a neutral area when first being introduced, and then start bringing them into more comfortable areas like the living room, things like that. Number 5 is going to be keep them separated when unsupervised. So if your dogs are not completely together yet, meaning they are not used to each other completely, as making sure they're on separate ends. Don't put them, right next door to each other or left in the same room unsupervised out of a crate, or one in a crate and one not in a crate, because it's not fair. You're going to create a level of anxiety. So again, keep them completely separated. And last but not least is always remember to keep and prevent negative scenarios. So quick rundown on what that is again. So this is a 6-step process that happens all simultaneous. It's very simple. So one, when we bring the dogs together, we're going to keep them tethered. We're going to have them together for short periods of time. Remember, about 30 seconds. 30 seconds turns to a minute turns to 2 minutes, and so on and so forth. Okay. As you progress into it, then you will drop the leash to allow it to be dragged. You'll always stay in front of the dogs and introducing in a neutral area. Once the process has been introduced, then you start introducing more familiar areas. Okay, and remember to keep them separated to always end on a very good positive note. All right, so now we talk about those 6 steps, and these things are very common. These are the easiest steps that are out there. Now, if you come across more issues or you're still having more issues, I want to let you know that you can easily reach out to us by just sending us a message through Facebook, or you can email us at traininginfo@bluelinek-9.com. Again, that is traininginfo@bluelinek-9.com. Okay, so if you try these 6 steps and you're finding yourself still hitting that brick wall, still having this trouble, no problem. Just go ahead and send us a message. We have more ideas for you to try and different tips and tricks that you can utilize to introduce your dog. So this is not just the only trick in the thing. This is just the easiest stuff to get everybody started. Okay, so Robin asks, how do you stop a tall puppy from jumping on you and knocking you over? Hey, great question, Robin. In our first episode of Dog Talk that aired about 3 weeks ago, we discussed petting the invisible dog. So, and this is a really fun and easy thing to do. So we have to take into consideration a few things. Why our dogs jump, all right? And there's 2 main reasons why our dogs jump. Dogs jump because they're attracted to odor. They utilize their nose for everything in the world. And there's 3 main places to give off odor. One's our crotch, our second is our armpits, and the third, obviously, is our mouth. So every time we're talking, we're literally emitting odor right out of our mouth. So our dogs are going to be attracted to those 3 areas. The next thing that happens is when our puppies are really, really small, we tend to pick them up. And I have a pet dinosaur here, as you can see here from my nephew. We're on a family vacation. You're going to pick the dog up. You're going to hold them in your arms and you're going to cuddle with them and you're going to treat them essentially like a baby, which what it is doing is it's teaching your dog that love and attention happens very close to your face. So your dog's going to be attracted to these areas. So the first thing you want to remember is you have to retrain the things that you trained already. And a real easy process here, which is one, if your dog knows the sit command, do not pet your dog or tell your dog no jump or any of those things. Don't also turn your back. Turning your back is going to make your dog continually jump on you or chase you around while jumping and possibly nip you because you've created a game, a hunt game. Remember, your dog is a predatory creature. They're going to be drawn into this, all right? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tell them to sit, okay? Simple as that. Tell them to sit. When they sit, immediately pet them. Yes, good boy, good sit, and pet them while they're there. If your dog is still animated and still high drive, turn slightly to a right or left. Doesn't really matter. Just slightly pet next to them. Just bend over and start petting the invisible dog. Or if there's a staircase around, go walk over to the staircase and pet the invisible dog there. You would be amazed to see how many of them will literally go and calm down to put themselves right there. So again, sorry, I was just reading one of the questions from Amanda. I'll answer that in a second. So again, the invisible dog trick is one of my favorite things to do. It's because it's very, very simple. You seriously just bend over, pet the invisible dog. Your dog will literally go right to where your hand is out of jealousy. In fact, they love the attention, and they will learn that when people come in, they will be pet. And then you can tell them that either this is, good greet. You can tell, you can name it. You can go those trains. So it's a very easy thing to try. It's a very easy way of solving the problem. But remember, a key thing here is do not give them any verbal cues, especially a negative marker, because you don't want them to remember a negative marker in the sense of they don't know it's negative. They think it's a positive thing. You're getting attention. So if your dog is jumping up on you and you're telling them to get down, you're rewarding that behavior. So remember to keep your mouth quiet and just pet the invisible dog. When your dog goes to that area, reward, 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 reward. Okay, that's the big thing you want to look at. All right, back to Amanda. Amanda asks that she missed the beginning of the video, so she wants a little bit more clarification on the up by 2 and down. I missed that part. No problem. So real easy peasy stuff. So up by 2, down by thirds. And it's a time thing. So we never want to go completely backwards when we're trying to fix a problem. So when we introduce dogs or introduce anybody into any scenario, you want to go up by 2. So we start with 30 seconds, and we give them a half-hour break. When we bring them back, we're going to go to 1 minute. Then we give them a half-hour break. Then after the half-hour break, we're going to 2 minutes. From 2 minutes, we're going to go to 4 minutes. 4 minutes to 8 minutes. 8 minutes to 16 minutes. 16 minutes goes to 32 minutes. Now, oh my goodness, we have a problem in the 32-minute section, right? We're going to say the dogs only got to 30 minutes. We didn't get to the final 2 before they got a little bit too excited and dropped the focus of being calm, cool, collective. We're going to give them their half-an-hour break, and when we bring them back, we're only going to come back for 20 minutes because 1/3 of 30 minutes is 10 minutes. So when we subtract the 1/3, we're only down to 20 minutes. So their next session together is 20 minutes long. All right, and if that session was wonderful, then we're going to bring them back for 40 minutes, and then 40 goes to 80, and so on and so forth. Before you know it, the compound effect kicks in, and you will be seeing wonders. Okay, that is going to be the key effect here, is that you got to remember, steps in the right direction, being on a good positive note will always increase very rapidly with that type of success. Where if we wait for the failures, we're going to remember failures, and that becomes our focal point of things. All right, so looking back at some comments here, Amanda, I hope that answered your question. Robin, thank you very much, Robin. I'm happy that it works for you. I would love some feedback, too, from you, Robin. I asked for people to send me videos of the dogs going for the invisible thing on our first week. So, Robin, if you don't mind, when you go to do it, have a family member videotape you petting the invisible dog and send it to us. I would love to see it. We had a lot of people comment about it. They couldn't believe that it works. It works wonders. But everybody was really embarrassed to send me the video of it because they said they made themselves feel goofy petting the invisible dog. So with that being said, I'm going to let everybody know on a little secret. I am a 280 burly dude. I'm a retired police canine handler, former combat Marine Corps veteran, and everything else that you could think of that would be the epiphany of a man's man, right? And I will tell you right now that nobody ever pays attention to how goofy I look when my dogs are awesome. Okay, so if I'm, yeah, my boy, and I'm doing all this crazy stuff, it doesn't matter how I look because the only thing everybody else is paying attention to is how awesome my dog is being. And my dog is awesome because I'm being goofy for them. They take that as that reward factor. So my advice to everybody is remember, if you think you would be embarrassed if somebody saw you doing these things, that means you are rewarding your dog properly, just to give you an idea. It's the easiest way to understand how much energy and excitement you should be giving to your dog is by doing that. All right, let's see. Do we have any other further questions from the audience here tonight? Not so many here. All right, let me see here. Amanda, hey, perfect. Thank you so much. No problem, Amanda. Anybody else? Robin, good to go. Anybody else have any questions, thoughts, concerns before we start chit-chatting on other things that are going on in the neighborhood? No? Give it a second because this is a delay. We are pulling in from different pages. So let me tell you a little bit about next week. Next week, we're going to have our first guest, which is going to be Nicole from Pet Apure. I'm butchering the name. I am very sorry. It's a very bad thing. But she is a in-home pet sitter and dog walker. She's going to be coming on and talking about different things that are great about how the COVID-19, what changes they made to keep all of her clients safe and secure. She's going to be working with talking about how to find the right pet sitter in your neighborhood for you or your in-home pet walkers and things like that. So it's going to be really exciting. And if anybody has any questions or would like to see a friend, family member, or into our business highlighted on our show, it would be a great thought process to send them over to here or send me their name and number. I'll be happy to reach out to them and see if they would come on and highlight their business and different things that everybody that watches the show can benefit from knowing about their business. So please, if you guys know anybody in the pet industry, anything, pet nutritionists, groomers, food suppliers, anybody, please send them over to us as that point. All right, so a couple of things that popped up. Chasing Cars from Kate Newton on leash. So I'm gonna have to ask Kate. You're gonna have to be a little bit more thing. So if you're walking down the road, the car drives by, the dog is jerking towards the car, or is it something slightly different? Because there's a few different ways of addressing those things. So we want to look at a couple of different things. One of which would be is if you're going down the street and your dog, see if I can paint this picture. Okay, so let me get this straight, Kate. Tell me if I'm doing this right. If this is what's going on, you're walking down the road, and the car is coming at you, and your dog books. I'm assuming tries to jolt towards the street to go after the car. I'm sorry. So your dog will jolt to the car. Yes, that's what you got going on. Yeah, jerking towards. Okay, great. All right. So if the car is going in the opposite direction, then the biggest thing that you want to do is going to be really simple. Is you want to just keep going. You want to ignore the behavior completely and continue going with the simple "let's go" command or "come on with me," something along those lines. Keeping the dog focused on what the walk is all about. When the dog starts to see that the attention is no longer there, it's not going to happen. The behavior starts to change very little by little. There's a few other tips that come into it, but you would have to go into a little bit more of a direct training system, meaning that we have to build a value system. We have to go into those things. But easy peasy tips would be just simply to continue walking with the direction of the dog. So pretend it like as if it never happened. So if I'm going northbound, the car's coming southbound, I'm going to continue walking northbound as if the car never even drove by. So my dog's going to go buck wild, barking like a fool, and I'm going to keep going. Once my dog is calm, I'm going to say, yes, good boy, and reward the dog for calming down and doing those behaviors. The biggest thing that we have to look at, especially when it comes to unwanted behavior, 90% of the time we've created or enforced those unwanted behaviors. No, I'm not saying you purposely rewarded your dog. It's an accidental thing. It happens by accident because we think a negative marker is what is necessary. So the dog lunges towards the car. We tell them no. We pull them back. We try to address them in a different light. And the behavior isn't what we're looking for. The downside is the dog believes that it's a wanted behavior because of the fact that they received attention for chasing the car. So what we're asking you to do is not give any attention and continue through the walk as if it doesn't get anything. And when the dog starts to realize that doesn't happen anymore because you've braced yourself and continue walking, the behavior will start to change. Now, with that being said, Kate, you want to take into consideration the fact that it takes 30 days to create a habit, 60 days to enforce a habit, and 90 days to embed this habit. So that means, it's not going to just end immediately after the first walk or second walk. Typically, the first 2 weeks of this walk that you're going to be going through will be getting worse. The most important thing is to stick through it. That time period is called an extinction burst. You can literally, if you want to get some laughs out of that phrase, you can YouTube the phrase extinction burst. It's a repeat of behavior before it's extinguished. Normally it means it's getting worse before the behavior is completely gone. So what'll happen is your dog will continue through getting worse and worse and worse and worse, but because you're not rewarding it, the dog just goes, and gives it up. And suddenly your walks become peaceful. And just remember, you want to marker wanted behaviors, not unwanted behaviors. The other thing, Kate, is if after about a month of doing this, if you're not coming across anything, like I said, I know it seems silly to tell you that you should wait a month and do a month, but let's look at this realistically and say psychology and the way we're working at this, it takes a little bit of time with your continued effort. And I know you can do it. So just go from it. If you struggle after 2 weeks, feel free to hit me up with a message. You can just shoot us a message through our Facebook page, and I'll be happy to give you another tip or set up a time to discuss through a personal Zoom call different avenues that you could try to solve those issues. But we like to try with the least amount possible, making sure that you're the ultimate reward for the behavior. So I hope that tip really does come true for you and it works out perfectly. Make sure you remember it takes about 2 weeks before you see the major change start to happen. All right, let's see if we have any more questions going on here. I know, like I said, it does take a second or two for everybody to come in. So again, guys, if you're watching and you have something on your mind or thought or whatever it is, please feel free to jot it on here because it does take a second. We are live on multiple Facebook pages. So just give you an idea of whatever, I'm not sure what page you're on, but we are on Dog Owner University. So in case you guys haven't seen, Dog Owner University is now going to be out and ready. It's coming really, really soon where we're going to have Coaching Unleashed, online dog training, puppy program, start to finish. And even by the end of the year, we'll even have a Train the Trainer course where you'll be able to take online and learn how to train your dog completely on your own, becoming a certified trainer. We're looking to team up with Erica from Canine Academy, Northeast Canine Academy. She does canine fitness, so it's going to be an awesome program when we get that launched as well in a university where you'll learn how to exercise your dog, get them into tip-top shape, go hiking and other activities that you can do all year round with your dog to keeping you and your dog in shape. So this is a really exciting year for all of us, even with the hiccups of 19, because we were able to come back to the drawing board and realize that we really needed to push out a lot more education to help people, especially when they're being trapped inside with a lot of lockdowns and understanding that your dog needs to go out there and do different stuff. So we really want to make sure that we're getting information. And the one thing I can tell you, I got to vent this about myself. This is just me personally, is I have a ton of knowledge, and sometimes I don't know what everybody's looking for or needs. So I don't know where to come from or start with the information. So it's really useful to have you guys truly interact with me and pull the information out by asking simple questions, as everybody's been doing tonight. So I really want to take a second again and to say thank you to everybody that's partaking, that's asking questions, that's doing it, because like I said, I have 18 plus years of training dogs, going to seminars, teaching seminars, and educating. And now it's time that I really want to give it away to everybody and just build bigger, stronger relationships. So I'm going to stay completely dedicated to you guys as long as you guys keep asking, right? Just keep plugging away. So I think I got the name right. So Nicole Wilson from Pet Au Pair, A-U-P-A-I-R. A-U-P-A-I-R. So I want to say sorry to her right now if I'm butchering the name. I'm not that good at reading. So just to let you know, I have no teleprompter because I would just be stumbling all over the place since I cannot read that well, as you can see. So she'll be on the show next week to talk about pet sitting, dog walking, how to pick the right dog walker, pet sitter, and talking about how her business has made adjustments to fit the COVID-19 rules and keeping everybody and their families safe. That's going to be really exciting next week, Tuesday night at 7 on BLK9 DOU, at Official MJ Solar, at BLK9 MD, at BLK9 Raleigh. So it's really exciting to see how everybody is partaking in a team here as we all join together and continue to pump the education out there. All right, let's see. Any more quick questions, concerns, or thoughts before we quit? We have 8 more minutes. Let's see here. What are some of the big things that go around that come up? So to let you guys know a little bit is I'm in Tennessee right now, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And even though I came down here and I went to a few places, different rules, regulations for when it comes to COVID-19, what people can do with their dogs. We did have a heat wave and stuff, but it was neat to find out how many people are still struggling with the same things. One of which is the main topic we went over today, which was introducing your dog to a new dog. Which remember the simplest things. So introduce in a neutral area, up by times by 2, drop by third. So remember, small increments, 30 seconds to a minute, and then break for a half hour, repeat, increasing the time. And if you have a problem, you decrease the time by a third. Real simple process. Remember, it takes a little bit of time to do those things. All right. The next one that came up the most was, what is better? Harnesses, leashes, flat collars. What is the other? Oh, belly leads are the new ones, where it's a neat harness that wraps the dog's belly. We are not going to have enough time to go over all of that tonight. I think what I want to do is I'm going to make an entire video about each one. I'm going to try to work on that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do them all live. I'm going to work on it because there are so many products out there. The biggest thing I could probably talk about tonight would be simply this. Do not buy retractable leashes. They're dangerous for everybody, especially the people that are not you. So what I mean by that is that if I don't know the distance of your dog, I don't know how to stay safe. The other thing is your dog is literally learning to pull, and I can't wait to have literally an entire episode on that. It is extremely hot. Shane, thank you, Shane. I'm going to try to cool off here in a little bit and dig it, but I got to go back to playing with dogs and enjoying some more Tennessee time. So I'm going to go enjoy the dogs, and then I'm going to cool off. Everybody, thank you for joining us on Dog Talk tonight. I cannot wait to see you guys again next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. for another episode of Dog Talk. And if you're looking for business advice or a little bit of inspiration, please join me tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. at the Official MJ Solar. I'm going to put it right up on your screen here in a second. It's going to be Stuck in a Truck at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow, Wednesday, at facebook.com /Official MJ Solar with an ER. Okay. I will be talking about different business tips, inspirational things that just to help you keep motivated, and different things that we can work on together as a team for all of us to benefit and success. So again, guys, see you tomorrow at 8:30 for Stuck in a Truck, or I'll see you next week, Tuesday night, for Dog Talk. Everybody, you have a great night. It was awesome chatting with you. I can't wait for our next episode.